Hey everybody, it's Bryan Juell here, expert realtor in Camarillo with your real estate market update for June of 2020. The one-word market update is warming. I'll go through some of the stats with you in just a second. If you ever need to get in touch with me, my contact information is right up here. Please give me a text or a call anytime. Email me, whatever you need, and I will do my best. Let me know what questions you've got, and I would be happy to help you out. I do provide links for you every month in the monthly market update, so go ahead and click on those links if you like. I provide great info for all the current active listings in Camarillo, all the under contract and pendings, all the solds for the previous month, and then also all the solds that are running from that previous month all the way through 30 days from when the link is produced for you. So check those links out. They're very valuable. And then I break down the data here for you. For example, what we've got going on in our current market is a few different factors, but some alarming factors as well, which I'm going to bring in just a minute. On the calendar year, we're down 3.1%. We've got 11 fewer homes sold in 2020 than 2019. Not really a big deal there. Year over year, we're actually up 6.5%. So that's looking okay as well. And month over month from April to May, we were only down 1.6%. So really not a big deal. But where we start to see the alarming factors in the current market is that we see our monthly year over year from May of 2019 to May of 2020, we've got a decrease of 28.2%. That is alarming because we should be going up as we head into summer, not down. So that's a big concern. Our current active inventory levels are down only 5.1% month over month. We've got 138 active on the market as of June 15th. We had 145 on May 13th when I did the last market update. The problem with what we're seeing here, though, is we're not getting that jump toward the end of spring and into summer in June like we should be. Our yearly highs usually occur on August 1st. Last year, we had 242 actives on August 1st. We're currently only 6 weeks away from that time, and we are down 57% in our inventory levels. That is a major concern when you look at the market, and that's something that is going to cause some issues. So what the data is telling us is that buyers are really going to have to compete with each other. There's going to be few available properties. The low interest rates are creating more buyers than there probably would be if the interest rates were a little bit higher. And the critically low inventory, well under these typical seasonal numbers, is going to cause a seller's market to prevail, cause the buyers to really compete with each other, and indicating that this reduced inventory in a typically hot time to sell is going to create problems for the market in general in terms of the numbers of transactions that are actually closed. You can't close transactions if properties aren't coming up to sell, and properties are not coming up to sell for a number of reasons. The coronavirus aspect cannot be overlooked here. Obviously, we do have some issues going on, which are leading less sellers to be willing to list their homes, whether it's because they don't want people coming into their homes, whether it's because they don't want to go shop for a new home themselves and go into other people's homes, or whether it's because they're concerned about their job and they're just going to stay put while everything shakes out. So they're not going to list their homes, or maybe they've lost a job, and because they've lost a job, there's no reason that they're going to sell because they won't have the income to go rent or buy anywhere else. So the market forecast and projections, the Federal Reserve just came out with a policy decision either early this week or late last week. They're going to be keeping interest rates low for the next few years. So what that's going to lead to is mortgage rates are going to probably remain low as well. The Fed overnight interest rate and the mortgage rates, they're not tied exactly to each other. So I don't want to get into the idea that they're exactly the same, but they are close enough to each other where if one stays low, the other will probably remain relatively low. Prices, even on these low rates, the low supply and the low demand, are going to keep the market balanced. The prices are relatively high compared to where they always have been historically price-wise, but because we've got the low rates, the low supply, and the low demand, we're going to keep the market relatively balanced. Those people who were expecting a crash, and the black swan event being the coronavirus and COVID-19 and what that's doing to the economy, a lot of people who have been expecting a crash were expecting, hey, this is it. This is going to be the catalyst. And we saw what happened in the stock market, and that thing dropped like a rock real quick, and it's kind of peaked back up since then. And we have had that V-shaped recovery that they talked about, even though we're not yet to the peaks in the Dow. The NASDAQ is fully recovered. But we do have some other things. Real estate always moves a lot slower, so you're going to have slower changes. But the data points are actually not leading it all to a crash. The data points like the reduced inventory, the low rates, the solid borrowers, and the lending practices that we didn't have during the last crash or that led to the last crash. The good underlying economy, I would grant you that the economy is not great right now if you look at the jobs numbers, but the underlying economy prior to COVID-19 was actually a really good economy. And so the underlying economy is still good. We just had a pandemic that led to some job losses. And so that eventually will correct itself and we should be back on firm footing. And there were laws put in place, not only now during the pandemic through emergency orders to avoid foreclosure and eviction, but there were laws put in place back in 2010 when the housing market started to rise. And what led to the rise of the housing market in 2010 that we're still seeing is low inventory. That led to this low supply and this buyer demand, which would outbid and compete with each other, that led to these raising of prices. What happened in 2010 is the government, who owns Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, that backs a majority of all mortgage loans, decided that they no longer were going to require banks that service loans to foreclose on borrowers that weren't paying immediately. They worked out different loan modifications. And in some cases, they just didn't make borrowers pay and they didn't foreclose. And what that did is it significantly reduced the supply that was on the market. Because that supply was reduced, buyers had to compete and prices started to rise. They figured out maybe that magic bullet with regard to the housing market is don't flood the market when people don't pay with inventory, because all it's going to do is reduce less of what's going to come back to you if they do foreclose. So they found that and they've been utilizing that. And I anticipate that that's going to be something they're going to use in the housing market until it proves to be a really big problem. And up to this point, it doesn't appear that that's the case. Some advice from the inside for sellers: even though the market's tilting in your favor, buyers are still very aware of the pricing, and with so much data available at different real estate websites and stuff like that, and even with different realtors, providing these market updates, that if you want to sell, you still have to be priced where a buyer will pay for it, or you've got to be prepared to wait until the market reaches you. Now, if the market's increasing and you want to sell above market, you may just have to be on market a little bit longer. But if you want to get a sale completed, you're going to have to price within the market so that you can find a buyer pretty quickly and move forward. For buyers, unfortunately, the market's going to be really tough for you for a little while. Low interest rates, the economy slowly reopening, which is going to bring even more buyers to the market. You got to be prepared for slightly higher prices and possibly competing against multiple offers. And you will need to be aggressive on any properties you really like, because you don't want to lose out on a property because you were trying to get a deal if that happens to be the property for you. So make sure that you are prepared to make your offers and make strong offers with good financing in your favor. We got a couple listings and escrows going on right now. One of my listings went under contract really quick in Central Camarillo in the Del Prado community. It's a really nice community, the largest floor plan that we have in that community, 1,899 square feet, many upgrades throughout. We put that under contract in less than 48 hours. I actually had an offer in less than 5 hours from when we hit market. That listing did really well, got professional photos, aerial photography. We did videos for it. The marketing on it was fantastic, and it brought a lot of interest. So I'm representing the seller in that one. I'm really happy with the way the listing went, and we are looking to remove contingencies there pretty soon and move forward with the sale, closing just before July 4th. I'm under contract representing a buyer on a Village at the Park, 2-bed, 2-bath condo, light, bright, open kitchen, multiple offers. Negotiation was needed to get the property for our buyers, but we got it done. And then I do have a coming soon listing, actually, in the 55 plus community in Camarillo Springs. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath. It's got a den, 1,440 square feet, really nice home, open kitchen, open concept. It's a manufactured home where you actually own the land. So because you own the land, it keeps the value relatively stable and strong. The HOAs are about 200 to 300 a month. I'll have that exact figure when we hit market, but really light and bright, open concept, like I mentioned, in the kitchen and living space. It's perfect for grandparents that you want to move to the area to be closer to the grandkids, or if you know someone who's looking for grandparents to move to the area, definitely mention it to them. It's a really great community. It offers a bit of a change of pace from Leisure Village and their nearly $500 or $600 a month HOAs. So really great neighborhood. I think people will really enjoy it if they give it a shot. We're going to come out and hit the market in the mid to low 400s. So 430-ish, 440-ish possibly is kind of what we're looking at, where the market's at. So we'll be hitting the market in about 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe one or 2 weeks, actually, just before July at the latest. So that'll be a good one. I just want to show you the listing for 1708 Monte Vista Drive real quick. And so we'll pop that up so that you can see. I encourage you to, since you're already here, you're on my YouTube page, go ahead and check out some of the property videos that I've done and the marketing that I've done for the properties that I list. I think you'll find that they are helpful for the properties that I list and getting maximum exposure. So I always get professional photos done for the listings. That helps immensely. And then I use these professional photos along with aerial photography to get really nice images, expose your property to the most amount of buyers, Facebook advertisements, Instagram, just to get the most people, the most viewers, and the most interest. You never know where you're going to find a buyer, and you want to catch buyers' interest, or even someone who doesn't know they're a buyer, or they are looking for somebody else and they might send it to somebody. And if you've got some good images and good quality content in the marketing, you may just bring somebody in. So that's just an example of what I do as a list agent to help my buyers. And then wanted to bring you back here. So those are the listings and the escrows that I've got going on right now. Obviously, I've got a few other buyers who are kind of in the market looking and shopping. I will say market-wise, though, the buyers are out there. So what many people were expecting to be not a good market going forward, there are buyers out there. What we're having a problem with is the number of listings, okay? So real estate services, please contact me. Like I mentioned, all my info is right up here. Buyers, I am happy to give you advice and expertise. I do really well for my buyers. I really make sure that you get a good deal. I work the contracts in your favor. Sellers, the marketing and the experience are really a good aspect. I'm going to bring exposure to your property and make sure that people are seeing it all over the place so that we bring as many buyers as possible to help get you the best deal and top dollar on your listing. And then investors in 1031 exchange, I'm familiar with the process. I provide information to help you figure out your market caps and whatever you need to figure out. And then some reviews. If you want to check me out and you want to know what I'm all about, I do have a link in the market update for the reviews that past clients have left for me on Zillow. But I encourage you to go check it out. I'm really proud of the work that I've done with people, and I'm proud that they are proud to have worked with me and that they feel that they benefited from it. And in terms of how I work, I'm informative, I'm transparent, I'm honest. I'm going to let you know what's going on. I'm going to keep your interest in mind the whole time. And so I'd appreciate an opportunity to work with you if you're looking for a realtor. If you do have any questions, let me know. That's the market update for June of 2020. Hopefully you found this informative and you don't have any other questions. But if you do, please reach out to me. All my information is right there. Have a great month, and I'll see you guys next time.